Brian Rolapp just dropped the biggest structural bombshell the PGA Tour has seen in decades, and the locker room is not taking it quietly. Within hours of his announcement, some of the most powerful names in professional golf started making private calls, pulling aside player directors, and demanding real answers about what exactly is happening to their tour. This is not a minor schedule tweak or a small format adjustment that players can ignore for a few weeks. Rolapp laid out a complete overhaul of how PGA Tour membership works, how players earn their spots, and how the entire competitive structure will operate going forward. The details are sweeping, the timeline is aggressive, and the implications for the guys who actually play every single week are massive. What makes this situation so unusual is the reaction from the top of the leaderboard. These are players who rarely complain publicly about tour decisions. They have dealt with schedule changes, format experiments, and endless debates about pace of play without making a scene. This time is different. The frustration is real, the questions are specific, and the answers they are getting from tour leadership are not satisfying anyone. The locker room thinks this is just a standard corporate restructuring. The actual blueprint hiding in the fine print will change the sport forever. I think Rolapp is either saving the tour or destroying it. Which side are you on? Let me know below. Hit subscribe for honest, no-fluff PGA Tour breakdowns every single week. To understand this reaction, look at who is actually making those private calls. It is not the rookies fighting to keep their jobs. Players demanding immediate answers are the established stars. Guys with multiple wins are suddenly looking over their shoulders. These are the guys who thought their tour status was completely secure for the next 5 years. Why are they panicking? Because the leaked details of Rolapp's plan suggest a complete reset of how tour membership works. The exact numbers are still being finalized by the competition committee, but the framework is clear. Past performance will no longer guarantee your status under this new framework. Imagine playing great golf for 10 years. You win a few times, you secure your spot. Then a new CEO walks in and says your past wins do not matter anymore. Every single week you are starting from zero. That is the reality the top players are facing. Rory McIlroy was one of the first to speak up. A long press conference never happened. Instead, he pulled reporters aside after his practice round and gave a very short, very blunt warning. Moving in this direction is exactly what the players want to avoid, according to the world number one. More details were refused, but his body language told the whole story. Rory refused to give the media a full press conference. What he whispered to his agents behind closed doors was much more damaging. To see why the players are so worried, you have to look at the future competition committee. This group is supposed to be the bridge between the front office and the locker room. Tiger Woods is chairing the meetings. Patrick Cantlay and other player directors are sitting at the table. On paper, this looks like the players have total control over the final rules. The reality inside those closed doors is completely different. Rolapp is not asking the committee for their permission. He is giving them a basic framework and telling them to fill in the blanks. The player directors are realizing they do not have the power to stop the core changes. They can only argue about the minor details. Tiger Woods knows exactly how this game is played. He has been on the policy council for years. He knows when management has already made up their mind. The quiet approach he is taking right now is not because he agrees with everything. It is because he knows the final vote is already locked in. Tiger and the player directors sat at the table assuming they held the power. The final vote was already decided in a New York boardroom. This lack of real power has led to a massive information blackout. The players are demanding a full town hall meeting to discuss the changes. Rolapp has refused. He only speaks to the media through carefully controlled press releases. The locker room is operating on rumors, and in professional golf, rumors are always worse than the actual facts. Players are talking to their agents, their caddies, and their financial advisors. Everyone is trying to guess what the new financial structure will look like. The uncertainty is making it impossible for anyone to plan their next season. You cannot book travel, hire staff, or plan a schedule when you do not even know if you will have a guaranteed spot in the first place. The frustration is boiling over because the players feel they are being treated like employees instead of partners. For the last 10 years, the tour has marketed itself as a player-driven organization. Now, a corporate executive from the NFL is coming in and treating them like assets on a spreadsheet. Updating resumes was a desperate move for the middle class. The sudden cancellation of a planned player meeting revealed a much darker strategy. The canceled town hall meeting was supposed to be a unified front. The player directors wanted to present a list of demands to the front office. Instead, the meeting was called off at the last minute. The official reason was a scheduling conflict. The real reason was that the player directors could not even agree on what to ask for. The locker room is deeply divided. The guys at the very top of the world rankings are worried about different things than the guys ranked 80th in the world. The superstars are worried about their individual appearance fees and their ability to pick and choose their schedule. The middle class is worried about simply keeping their jobs. Rolapp knows exactly how to use this division. By keeping the exact rules a secret, he forces the players to fight each other instead of fighting him. The guys at the top might be willing to accept a harsher system if it guarantees them more money at the very top. The guys at the bottom will fight it, but they do not have the same leverage. Superstars are busy fighting over their own appearance fees. They completely ignored the massive trap waiting for the players who actually left. While the current PGA Tour members are fighting over the new rules, the guys who left for LIV Golf are watching this entire mess from the outside. The defectors thought their massive guaranteed contracts gave them all the power. They thought the PGA Tour would eventually have to beg them to come back. Rolapp is building a system that completely ignores them. The new structure is designed to reward players who are willing to grind through a brutal week-to-week meritocracy. The LIV players are used to a guaranteed, closed system with no relegation and no real pressure. If they want to come back to the PGA Tour, they will have to enter this new system at the very bottom. This realization is causing a secondary panic among the defectors. They are suddenly realizing that their leverage is disappearing. The PGA Tour is moving forward without them, and the new system is being built specifically to punish the idea of guaranteed money. LIV players assumed their massive contracts gave them the ultimate leverage. Rolapp only cares about one specific type of currency, and it is not guaranteed money. The guys fighting for their cards are stressed, but the elite players at the very top are starting to ask a much darker question. They are looking at the proposed schedule changes and realizing they are losing their individual power. For years, the top 20 players in the world have been able to pick and choose their schedule. They skip the smaller events, rest up, and only show up for the big tournaments. Rolapp is trying to eliminate that privilege. The new rules are expected to mandate more appearances for the top players. If you are in the top tier, you will be forced to play in a minimum number of events. You will not be able to skip a tournament just because you are tired. Your appearance fees will be capped, and your ability to negotiate your own deals will be severely limited. The superstars are realizing they are being treated just like everyone else. Tiger Woods sat quietly at the head of the table during the final committee meeting. He knew the exact moment the player era officially ended. The corporate takeover was no longer a threat. It was a reality. Rolapp brought his NFL playbook directly to the golf course, and the players were completely unprepared for the sheer speed of the execution. Tiger sat quietly at the head of the table. The corporate takeover was no longer a threat, but a brutal reality. Broadcasters are already negotiating the next massive media rights deal. The exact rules Rolapp is pushing through will completely reset the leverage. This brings us to the actual core of the problem. Why is Rolapp doing all of this? Why is he risking a massive player revolt? The answer has nothing to do with making the game fairer. It has everything to do with television. Rolapp is a television and media executive. He looks at the PGA Tour and sees a product that is too comfortable. When players have guaranteed money and guaranteed status, they do not fight as hard. The television ratings suffer because the storylines are predictable. Rolapp wants to engineer desperation for ratings. Here are the exact rules he is pushing through. The total number of full-time PGA Tour cards is dropping from 125 down to exactly 100. That is a hard cap. If you are ranked 101st in the world, you do not have a full-time job anymore. To manage this, he is implementing a strict two-tier competitive model. The top players will compete in the Championship Series. Everyone else gets pushed into the Challenger Series. It is a direct promotion and relegation system based entirely on weekly performance. If you are in the Championship Series and you miss a few cuts, you drop down. If you dominate the Challenger Series, you move back up. This is the ultimate meritocracy. Every single shot matters. There is no safety net. But the real genius of this plan is how it resets the media rights leverage. By creating a system where players are desperate to keep their cards, Rolapp guarantees better television. A player fighting for his life on a Thursday afternoon makes for much better TV than a comfortable player who already secured his spot for the year. The networks will pay more for that drama. Rolapp is using this brutal new structure to force a new, massive billion-dollar television deal. He is breaking the player monopoly to give the power back to the broadcasters. Now that the exact rules are out in the open, the locker room is in full panic mode. The players realize they have been completely outmaneuvered. They spent the last 6 months arguing about minor schedule tweaks while Rolapp was quietly redesigning the entire economic structure of the sport. Fans might actually love the drama of a brutal new meritocracy. The players are preparing for a legal battle that could permanently fracture the sport. The player directors are scrambling. They are looking at the math, and the math does not work for the guys ranked 70 to 100. The financial drop-off between the Championship Series and the Challenger Series is massive. The lower tier pays significantly less and offers almost zero momentum for the season-long race. The veterans are realizing that a decade of loyalty means nothing under this new system. A bad month with a couple of missed cuts means immediate demotion. They lose their status, their guaranteed entry into flagship events, and their access to the biggest purses. The tour is moving from a closed franchise model back to a brutal, open meritocracy. The first instinct of the players was to threaten legal action. They thought they could claim the new rules violate their existing agreements, but the tour's legal team is ready for this. The bylaws give the Policy Council the right to change the competitive format with a majority vote. Since Rolapp has already secured the votes from the independent directors, the players do not have the numbers to stop it. They are also looking at the possibility of a strike, but a strike is almost impossible to execute. The players are too divided. The guys at the top might be willing to play under the new rules if their appearance fees are protected. The guys at the bottom will strike, but they do not have the leverage to shut down the tour. Legal threats will bounce right off the new corporate bylaws. The only weapon the players have left is the one thing Rolapp cannot control. Rolapp knows this. He is counting on the players to fracture. He is betting that the superstars will eventually accept the new rules because it guarantees them a spot in the Championship Series. He is willing to sacrifice the middle class to get the deal done with the television networks. Here is the most frustrating part for the players. The fans might actually love this new system. Golf fans want to see players fight for their lives. They want to see the drama of promotion and relegation. They want to see a player miss a 3-foot putt and lose his tour card. That is the kind of drama that drives ratings and builds new audiences. Rolapp is aligning his new structure perfectly with what the casual fan wants to see. He is taking the power away from the players and giving it to the viewers. The players are realizing that they are no longer the ones controlling the narrative. The television networks and the fans are now in charge. Rolapp is aligning his new structure perfectly with what the casual fan wants to see. The players are realizing they are no longer in charge. This philosophical shift is what is causing the deepest worry in the locker room. The players spent the last 10 years building a system that protected them. They created a closed loop where everyone at the top was guaranteed a comfortable living. Now, a corporate executive is tearing it all down because it does not maximize television revenue. The clock is ticking. Rolapp has set a target date of the 2028 season to fully implement these changes. That gives the players about 2 years to figure out how to adapt. Some players are already hiring sports psychologists to deal with the new pressure. Others are changing their practice routines to prepare for a brutal, week-to-week survival mode. A complete strike is mathematically impossible to execute. The real battle will happen in the minds of the guys trying to survive the new cut line. Every single practice round, every single putt, and every single drive will carry the weight of their entire career. The comfort of the modern PGA Tour is dead. The era of pure, unforgiving survival has returned. A complete strike is mathematically impossible to execute. The real battle will happen in the minds of the guys trying to survive the new cut line. The 2028 season will answer a lot of questions. We will find out if this brutal new meritocracy actually creates better golf. We will find out if the television networks are willing to pay the $1 billion Rolapp is demanding. We will also find out if the players can survive in a system that no longer cares about their past achievements. The 2028 season will answer a lot of questions. We will find out if this brutal new meritocracy actually creates better golf. Brian Rolapp has made his move. He has laid out the rules and he has made it clear that he is not going to back down. The top players demanded answers, and now they have them. The answers are not what they wanted to hear, but they are the new reality of professional golf. The only question left is who will survive the cut.